This is Anil Kumar, and today topic is complex compounds. And in this, we will discuss about nomenclature of complex compounds and the effective atomic number. So let us begin the class. So before going to write the nomenclature of complex compounds, first we have to know the names of anionic ligands and cationic and neutral ligands. So you can see here, first thing is you have to by heart all these anions. So if these compounds are present inside the square bracket, so whatever these anions, these are nothing but ligands. If they are present inside the square bracket, then you have to name this. So the naming is same like organic chemistry only. So first thing is you have to by heart all these anions, cationic ligands and neutral ligands. So and there are some rules we have to follow, and by taking the help of that rules only we can write the names of complex compounds. So I'm not discussing all the rules, but if you follow the explanation of how I am writing the nomenclature of a complex, then if you practice some more examples by using this method, then you can easily write the name of any complex. So first let us see, the first point is first we have to identify what is the type of complex. So what is a type of complex means first you have to ionize this complex. Suppose if you are ionizing this complex. So when you are ionizing this complex, then we get cobalt, NH3, taken 6, and the charge is 3 plus, and 3 chlorines, it is 3 Cl minus ions. So why we are writing this means, first thing we have to know what is this complex, whether it is a cationic complex or it is a anionic complex. So if you ionize this is a cation. So this is an example for cationic complex. So the basic thing is we have to identify whether this is a cationic complex or anionic complex. After identifying cationic complex or anionic complex, always the name should be started with cation, whether it is a complex or it is a ionic sphere. So the name should be started with the cation, and if the cation is a complex, then first we have to start with the ligands. And while writing the ligands, if there are 2 or 3 more ligands, then we have to follow alphabetical order. So here there is only one ligand, so you can directly write the ligand. And here there are 6 ligands, so we have to write this complex as a hexa. And you can see here this Cn minus, sorry, this NH3. NH3 is generally it is called as amine. So this is hexa amine. And then we have to write the name. So whenever this is present as cation complex, you can write this as metal cobalt. And after writing the cobalt, you have to write the oxidation state of the cobalt. So in the previous class we discussed how to calculate oxidation states, and here if you calculate this cobalt we get +3. So we have to write this oxidation state in Roman number 3, oxidation state. And outside the complex there are chlorine. So this is chloride ions. So Cl minus is nothing but chloride ions, and outside the complex there is no need of mentioning the number. So you can directly write this as chloride. That's all. So this is how we write the name of a cationic complex. Now see this example. This is an example for anionic complex. So if you ionize this, we get 4K plus and Fe Cn taken 6, and we get 4 minus. Now how to write this complex? So I have already said whatever it is, first we have to start with the cation. So here the cation is potassium. So we don't need of writing this 4 potassium as tetra potassium. We can directly write this as potassium. That's all. So this name is potassium. Now while writing this complex, again the same thing, we have to write the ligand and then followed by the metal. So here 6 cyanides are there, and here the cyanide is called as cyano. So we have to write this as hexacyano. And here iron is present. Whenever the iron is present as a anionic complex, we have to write this as a ferrate. So we must not write as iron, we have to write this as ferrate. And if you calculate the oxidation state, this will be having +2 oxidation state, and we have to write this as +2. So this is how we write anionic complex. So whenever there is a anionic complex, then we have to write, so anionic complex is there, then we have to write this as ferrate. If the iron is present in cationic complex, then we can write directly as iron. So so many students will be getting confused whether to write cobalt or cobaltate. If the complex, that is why first we have to write the complex, we have to ionize the complex. So this ionization is only to know whether we have to write cobalt or cobaltate. Cationic complex is there, you can directly write cobalt. And if the cobalt is present in anionic complex, then we have to write this as cobaltate. In the same way, now here the iron is present as anionic complex, so we are writing this as ferrate. Suppose if it is present in the cationic complex, then you can write this as iron oxidation state 2. That's all. Now let us see this example. In this there are 2 ligands. So in the before examples we are having only one ligand, but this is a complex with 2 ligands. And here also first point is what we have to do. We have to first separate the complex. So if you ionize this complex, we get CO, Cl2, En taken twice, and this En is a bidentate ligand, and plus Cl minus, and here we get a plus charge. Now while writing the name of this complex, this is a cationic complex. So we have to start with ligands. So I said while writing the ligands, we have to follow alphabetical order. So in this Cl2 is called as chlorido. So you can see here the Cl minus is called as chlorido. And en actually it is called as ethylene diamine. So this is ethane 1,2 diamine, or you can write it as ethylene diamine. And now here the number of en are 2. So whenever bidentate ligands are there, we should not write as di. We should write this as bis. So for a bidentate ligands, we have to write this as bis. And if there are 3 ligands, then you have to write this as tris. Only for the bidentate. And if they are monodentate, you can write di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa. But whenever a bidentate ligand is there, so for a bidentate ligand, so if the bidentate ligands are 2, then you have to write this as bis. And if they are 3, then it is called as tris. And if they are 4 or 5 and 6, then they are called as this is tetra KIS. And if there are 5, then you have to write it as penta KIS. But mostly we will be having only up to this tris only. Either you may have this 2 bidentate ligands or 3 bidentate ligands. Why means in our syllabus we have only octahedral and tetrahedral. So octahedral means already 3 ligands, this will give octahedral complex. And if 2 ligands are there, then they can give tetra or square. So mostly you will be getting this bis or tris only, not more than these 3. So whenever bidentate or if some tridentate ligands are there, just remember this. If 2 bidentate ligands are there, we have to write it as bis. and the 3 bidentate ligands are there, then you have to write this as a tris. And remaining monodentate is the similar thing. You can write it as dichloro, trichloro, tetrachloro, pentachloro, hexachloro. Now in this example, this is chloro. So we have to write the alphabetical order also. So here there are 2 chloro. So you can write this as a dichloro. Chloro. So you have to write this as a dichloro. So actually it is not chloro, it is a chlorido. Chlorido. And this is ene. And ene are nothing but you are having 2 enes. So ene is called as ethane 1,2 diamine. So there are 2, so how we have to write this as bis. So this is bis ethane 1,2 diamine. And now we have to write this metal, that is cobalt. And this is a cationic complex, so you can write directly cobalt. If this is present in anionic complex, we have to write this as cobaltate. So this is cobalt. And if you calculate the oxidation state of this cobalt, you will be getting +3. So I have to write this as 3, Roman number 3. And outside chlorine is there, so this is nothing but chloride ion. So I have to write this as chloride. So this is continuation of this chloride. So the name of this compound is dichlorido bis ethane 1,2 diamine cobalt 3 chloride. Next, this is a neutral complex. So you can directly write this same like cationic complex only. So there are 4 carbonyl. So this is called as a tetra carbonyl, and it is nickel. I means the cationic complex and neutral complex, you can directly write the metal name. So this is nickel. And oxidation state of nickel is 0. So you can write this as 0. So we have to mention the oxidation state. So this is a anion complex, and in this complex also first we have to write about this fluorine, and this fluorine is called as fluorido, and the number of fluorido are 6. So this is called as hexafluorido. And this is a anionic complex. Cationic complex you have to write cobalt, and anionic complex you have to write this as cobaltate. And the oxidation state, if you calculate this, we get +3. So this is cobaltate 3, and this is ion, so you have to write this as ion. So by taking the help of these 5 examples, you can write the nomenclature of any given compound. So you can practice taking by taking some examples from any material. Is effective atomic number, which is called as EAN. So this is very simple. We have to know the coordination number of a complex, and we have to know the oxidation number of a complex. If you know both this and atomic number of the given central metal, then we can find the effective atomic number. So effective atomic number is nothing but Z. Z is nothing but atomic number minus oxidation state. Oxidation state of the metal plus 2 into coordination number. That's all. So let us take one example. So K4 Fe Cn taken 6. So here the atomic number of iron, the atomic number of iron is 26. So here Z is nothing but it is taken as 26. So 26 minus, if you calculate the oxidation state, we get 2 plus 2. So 26 minus 2 plus 2 into coordination number. Coordination number is nothing but the total number of ligands. So these are all monodentate ligands. So you can directly take this as 6. So if you calculate this, we get 24 plus 12, which is equal to 36. So this is effective atomic number. And next, let us take one more example. NiCO taken 4. And here the atomic number of nickel is 28 minus oxidation state of nickel is 0 plus 2 into coordination number. This is a monodentate ligand, so the coordination number is 4. So 2 into 4. So it is 28 plus 8, which is nothing but 36. So in this way we can calculate effective atomic number of any example. So I am doing one more example. Let us take some chromium H2O taken 6 Cl3. So atomic number of chromium is 24. And if you calculate oxidation state of chromium, it is equal to plus 3. So 3 plus 2 into coordination number is 6. 6. So this is nothing but 24 minus 3 is 21 plus 12. So which is equal to 33. So this is how we find the effective atomic number. So generally these are nothing but the total electrons which are present around the central metal. So this Fe is having these ligands and it is having some oxidation state, and these are all the total number of electrons which are present around the central metal in a complex. And these generally these electrons are nearly equal to the noble gas electrons. That is, if you take helium is 2 and neon is 10, argon is 18, and if you take krypton atomic number is 36. So this is nearly equal to 36. And whichever the complexes they are having the atomic number equal to 36, they are said to be more stable when compared to the elements which are not exactly equal to 36. They are also stable, but compared to these three examples, this is a little bit less stable. AgNH3 taken to Cl, and oxidation state is 1, and here the coordination number is nothing but 2, so it is 2 into 2, which is equal to, this is 46 plus 4, which is equal to 50, and this is nearest to this xenon, but less than this number of electrons of this xenon. So this is how we find effective atomic number of any given complex. So in the objectives, he will give the complex and he will ask to find the effective atomic number. That's all. So for this you have to know the atomic number of the central metal, and you must know how to find the oxidation state, and you must know what is meant by a coordination number. So you can just count the number of ligands. So all the monodentates, take it as 6 into 1, 6 ligands. Suppose if there is bidentate ligand, you have to take the bidentate ligand as into 2. Suppose if there are 3 bidentate ligands, the coordination number will be equal to 6. So this is how we calculate effective atomic number. That's all for the day. Thank you.